So what we were talking about the interface was that these particular interface are what they are forming the behavior of that particular element. If I say window is an element, so opening a window is what? It is a behavior of that element. So that is what we are showing the interface as. Now these particular interface can be defined as the set of operations or specifications, but these are not defined or never defined as a set of operations in implementations. So here that is what we are going to clearly identify the interface as the, let it be open or close. So this is representing the behavior of the class that is window, right? So that is what iWindow is, interface, and it is represented in a circular form, and which is interacting. It is an interface with the window. And paint is another, you can see this particular as an another interface, which is, also interfacing some other class. So that is what here iPaint is. But iWindow is interfacing with the, is the interface for the window only. So that is the interface. Now second one, see these are the things which you are going to always remember when you are going to design or when you are going to draw the UML diagrams. Next one is the collaboration. What is this collaboration? Collaboration is a very simple one. That is, it is a collection of all the interactions between the objects, right? If you are working with different objects, so the collection of all those particular interactions is termed to be as the collaboration. Collaboration can be defined with the, in this form, that is the dashed line, and it is a ellipse form which is defined with the name written inside this shape, right? It is a collection. So here the name of the class is what? Here, sorry, the name of the collaboration is what? Chain of responsibility. So all the collection of interactions among the objects can be defined as here as the collaboration. Next one, we have the use case. Now what is this use case? Use case is what? It is a sequence of actions. We are going to define all the sequence of actions which is going to be taken up by the actor, and it is providing a particular result for the actor. Example I'm taking here is, let's say this this is the symbol of actor. This is what? This is the actor, and the actor is what? Actor is a photographer. So I'm talking about the photographer out here. Now what a photographer can do, what are the actions this photographer can perform? The actions which the photographer can perform, he can take the pictures, he can change the film. Obviously in today's world we are not going to change the film of the camera because we have the digital cameras in today's world. This was the earlier version. So these can be defined as the two steps or the two actions which can be defined by the photographer, that is taking the pictures and changing the film. So what is this? This sequence of actions, that is the taking of pictures, changing of film, right? This is what these are this is forming the use case of, in terms of UML. Now, this is what it is used to define the structure of a behavior in a model. That means this is the behavior of the photographer, which is going to what? Take picture and change the film, and it is representing you the complete structure. This particular is going to represent you the complete structure of this behavior. You can see and you can easily understand that this is the behavior and this is the complete structure of this behavioral thing in the model. So that is what we have written. A use case is a description of sequence of actions that a system performs that yields observable results of value to a particular actor, where who is the actor in our example? He is the photographer. And what is the sequence of actions that I told you? That is taking a picture and changing the film. So the way how these particular use cases are rendered graphically, they are rendered graphically in an ellipse form with solid lines. Don't get confused with the collaboration. Collaboration was in the dashed lines and the name was written inside. Here we have the solid line of same shape, that is the ellipse, but we have the solid line and the name can be written outside or inside. Both the ways it is fine. it always includes the name of the use case. So that is what we are going to define here, the fourth part, that is of the structural thing, that is use case. Now moving towards the next one, that is called as the active class. Now we have already studied what is a class, but now what is this active class? Active class can, can initiate its own flow of control. This is a very important part for an active class. This is how you differentiate the class and an active class. This is the class whose object can initiate own flow of control and work in parallel with other objects. That means it can concurrently work with the other objects. Parallelly, other objects can also work, and it has the control of, it has the, right to control or initiate the control of this. Such as here, the event manager is the what? It is the class. But this is an active class, and it can be showed how we can, differentiate between the active class and the class graphically, right? Graphically, we can see that this is a double line or a thick line out here. Rather, in simple class, we have just a single line in this way, just a rectangular box. But in the active class, we have what? We have a double line on the side of the rectangular box. So that is what we have the active class out here. Now moving further to the sixth component. Sixth component is what? It is component itself. The name is component. What is this component? It is a modular part of the system design. What is it? It is a modular part. That means it is just a part. We all know that we are going to define the modularity in it. Modularity means dividing into small parts to clearly understand the complete picture. So this system is going to hide the implementation behind all sets of external interfaces. That means this is a, component with the name order form, and this particular order form can have so many implementations and external interfaces behind this particular set. But it is not going to show the complete details of it. It is hiding all the details, and this particular component is what? It is a major format that is called the order form. It can have any other things. It can have database, it can have tables, files, documents, etc., etc. So examples of components can be defined as the executable files, DLL files, database tables, files, and documents, etc. Right? Graphically, when we render a component, it is defined like a class, but a special icon, you can see this special icon out here. This is how we are going to represent the component. That is, in the upper right corner, we are going to design this special icon, and this is written within the name out here. So that is what the component is. Now the last thing, that is called as the node. This is the last part of structural thing, right? All these we are going, what we were studying till now, we are studying the static parts. These are not dynamic, these are the static ones. These are the noun of the UML. So the seventh one is the node. What is this node? A node is a physical element that exists at runtime and represents a computational resource. That means what? This is a physical element, right? It is termed as a physical element. It can be a PC, it can be a laptop, it can be a server, it can be a smartphone, it can be any, any other system. So this is what? This is a physical element which is running, which exists at runtime, or ये क्या करता है? It is a computational resource. It has some amount of memory. It has obviously some amount of memory, and it has the capability of processing. This you have to remember always. Generally having at least some memory and often processing capability. Now this is rendered graphically with the form of a cube. Right, this is a cubical form, and the name of the node is written inside it. That is the server. Here the node is the server. It can also be a PC or laptop or phone, etc. So these are what? These are the 7 structural things we have studied now. Now we are going to move the second part, that is second thing, which is called as a behavioral thing. Now these particular, I have already told you that this is forming the dynamic parts. as the behavior suggests what the behavior. If I talk about any entity, the behavior of that particular entity changes from time to time. That is why we are terming it as dynamic. These are terms as the verbs of model, while structural termed as the nouns. They represent behavior over time and space. This I told you. Obviously, they are representing behavior over time and space. Now, there are two primary kinds of behavioral things. What are those? We are going to see. The first one is the interaction. What is this interaction? You know, interaction is just a message, passing of message between two objects, which can be performing a specific action, such as if we have a user out here and this is a laptop and the message is being passed over the display. So this is what, this is the interaction between the two objects, that is the PC and the user, maybe the end user or whatever. So how this is rendered? This is rendered with a arrow sign with the name of the interaction. That is, these are specifically the messages which are being defined. Messages, actions, or connectors. So they are forming what? These are forming the connection points between the two objects. How the action is being triggered, how the connections, these particular are connected to each other. Graphically, a message is rendered as a directed line, including the name of its operation. So the name of our operation is here is display. So the second one is state machine. Now, what is the state machine? State machine is a sequence of states. You know, state is, if I say I have arranged a meeting and I am, first thing I have arranged a meeting. Now second step, I am waiting for students. So first arrange a meeting, I was working on that. Second stage is my wait is I am waiting for that now, right? So that is a state. Now what is this? This is a behavioral part. Obviously, this is a behavioral thing part. So it is a behavior which is specifying the sequence of states an object or an interaction goes through during its lifetime in response to events, together with its response to those events, right? We can have here the state, we can have the action. Let's say I just go to a restaurant and I place an order. So the particular part is placing an order. Placing an order is an action. After this action, I have to wait. So my state is changed to waiting stage. Next action is going to be performed. That is, the order is being processed. So process order. So this is how the sequence of events, the complete lifetime has a sequence of events in response to other events that defines the state. So these are defined or graphically rendered in a rectangular box which are circular at the corners, right? So these are the rounded rectangles and the name is written out here. So these are forming what? These are the states which are going to change and which is triggered due to an event. Let's say I placed an order. So placing of order is an action and this triggered to a state of change, that is waiting state. Right now this state waiting is there. Next action will be done, that is the order will be processed, and further the complete action will be taken on in the process. So this is called as the state machine. So we are going to work out till here because the meeting is going to end right now. Thank you.